Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Love and Translation. So we don't have anything to discuss really, not really. We don't have any hot goss, but what I am going to discuss, which I think everybody has caught on to, Love and Translation will be off next week because of that little thing that you call football. So the Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday. So because of that, this is the only time where TLC shuts TLC down. So that's what's happening. There will be no Love and Translation. So with that in mind, next week is the week where we're getting Love is Blind, and we're getting the huge dump of episodes 1 to 6. So luckily, I don't know, I planned this right. This is perfect. Nothing is going to be pushed for Love is Blind to either, a quick break or bonus eps. Nothing is going to be pushed. We are going to do everything that we normally do on top of those 6 episodes. So next week we will only have Single Life, Diaries, which is usually pretty quick, and Married at First Sight, with the addition of Love is Blind. So we're perfect. So hopefully the following week when we're back up, the week of the 18th, hopefully, we should only be getting, I believe, 3 episodes of Love is Blind. I believe 3 or 4. So we should be okay. We should be able to handle, oh yes, and The Bachelor too. Forgot about The Bachelor. Sorry. Forgot about The Bachelor. So yeah, you'll have that too. On top of everything else. So that's what's going to be happening. I'll announce this again on the 90 Day OG episode because that is also off for next week, which is it's going to make it a lot easier. So we'll be good. Now with Below Deck has started. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Below Deck aired yesterday. I have not seen it yet. So we'll see what happens once I'm able to watch Below Deck, which probably won't be until Thursday. So once I've watched Below Deck, I will let you know if I will be putting any thoughts out there on the episode. It's kind of a see as we go type thing. It is just a little different because we do have the different captain, but yet a familiar captain. And we do have some familiar people like Fraser and what's his nuts, the Australian guy. We do have some familiar faces coming back, but we'll see how it goes. I'll see how I feel. But enough of that. I have nothing else to say on the top. Let's just jump into the reason that we are here. Love and Translation, Season 1, Episode 3. Amore is blind, like love is blind. Ridiculous. So, Giselle says that she was a little upset with Trip last night because he was, kissing Lady or whatever her name is, because I don't know if Trip's saying her name right. But you know what? She's taking the anger out of her, and she would just like to go on a date with Trip to build their connection. So Trip, a little later, she goes downstairs, everyone's doing breakfast and stuff, and Trip says, you know what, this language barrier is really tough. He doesn't know what people are saying, no clue, it's not easy, fine. But Trip does say that lady, whatever her name is, because again, don't know, is starting to capture his attention. So we will see how that goes throughout the rest of the episode. So meanwhile, we see Sarah and Dylan kind of connecting, right? And then we see Iman. Okay, so I've already kind of put it out here already. I do not like Iman. She's rubbing me the wrong way. I had hope for her. I thought I would like her. I don't. And this shit talking she's doing is ridiculous. There is a way to say, listen, Dylan is entitled to date whomever he wants. And in this case, he's not even with Tulai. He's with Sarah. And yet Iman doesn't miss a beat to talk shit about Tulai. Because why? Tulai decides that she doesn't want to be all up into this. She wants to keep a step back because she doesn't want a target on her back or whatever. And yet the girl still has a target on her back, and it's Iman because what? And she says, she just doesn't like her. This is what Iman said. She just doesn't like Tulai. And that's fine. You don't have to like Tulai, but you don't have to talk shit about her. Why? Because you're threatened. Tulai has a connection with Dylan. Sarah does now too. I don't see you talking shit about Sarah, but give it a minute. Maybe she will. You are talking shit about Tulai because she has a connection. You don't, because you've made it clear you like Dylan and you would want to go on a date with Dylan. That's why you have a problem. So just, how about you work on maybe building a connection with Dylan, and then we'll go from there. But I think, which again, just to go back to episode 1, ma'am, you're not going to build a single connection here. And the reason you're not going to build a single connection here is because you came in hot day 1. So these men are just like, I have all these other girls, these 12 other girls or whatever, there's 11 other girls. You making 12. We have all these other people. I'm going to focus on that and wait for you to decide to leave. She's clueless if she thinks that any of these men are going to give her the time of day after what happened in episode 1. So then we see Tulai and Dylan kind of, doing their thing, spending some time. He says it's his German lesson. He's going to learn some German. So she's kind of saying, like, what's this? And first he's like, what? And he's like, oh, leg. So she says, what leg is in German? And then when we get to the arm, guys, it's just arm. Arm is arm in English and in German. So that's easy. So while Dylan is with Tulai, this girl who I wasn't even sure if her name was Juliana, but it is Juliana, says, he's with Tulai, but every so often he makes these glances my way and he's like looking at me. And here's the thing. Unless I hear that from Dylan, is he looking at you? I don't know if he's really looking at you. Maybe he's not looking at you. Maybe he's just looking out into the ether for a minute, like we all kind of do. But does that mean he's looking at you? I don't know if you're on his radar, like, at all. So, again, unless I hear from Dylan being like, oh yeah, I'm noticing Juliana, she's real cute or something. He hasn't mentioned you. The only women he mentions is Tulai or Sarah. Like, I don't know where this was coming from, but anyways. Then we see Sangeeta. She's showing up and we're going to be having some fun, she says. But before we do, the guys were told to drop and give her 20. So they do. They drop and give 20. If Khalil wasn't quite catching up and then he had to catch up and whatever. I think Trip did like 40. Who knows? And then when they're done, she's like, you guys are sweating, huh? You must be real sweaty. So take your shirt off. So they take their shirt off. So the reason, she says, for all of this is because we're going to figure out the power of pheromones. So before I say that, basically, if you're not catching on here, what is going to be happening is that the women are going to be smelling these sweaty ass men and to capture their pheromones. Iman is like, so wait one fucking second. I'm supposed to smell these men after they just did 20 push-ups. So I'm supposed to smell these smelly ass men? She's like, I don't fucking think so. She's like, that is disgusting. And I agreed with her 100%. I'm like, she's like, I can't do that. No, I wouldn't want to do that either. No, listen, I don't think, to me, honestly, like this is me. Not everyone's like this. I mean, they really put the focus on the pheromone situation. Like you have Giselle like every few minutes kind of being like, I love the smell of my man. I like to cuddle with them. I like to smell their clothes or whatever. I'm just like, okay, I get it. I've done that to a certain degree. Um, but in my older age, quote unquote, I don't, I mean, obviously I want the person I'm with to smell presentable. Of course. I think we can all agree to that. Um, but I'm not out here being like, oh yeah, the smell of them like gets me all horned up or something. Like, you smell good and it helps, I guess. I mean, and everyone's different though. So maybe for some people, the smell of their person does get them just ready to go. Whereas for me, it's more touch. But yeah. But anyways, so Trip is like, well, you know, good diet really does help with something like this. Since he's a personal trainer, like a nutritionist or something, he's really done the research on like pheromones. No, the fuck you haven't. But anyways, he's done the research on the pheromones and or whatever. He's like, I think like the kinds of foods that help with that is like celery and truffles. Celery, number one, smells like nothing or tastes like nothing. So I guess you would smell like nothing. And then truffles. So you should be eating fungus. That feels like the opposite effect. Personally, I'm just saying. That feels like, listen, I'm not a mushrooms girl, but I've had like things in truffle sauce or whatever, and it's fucking fantastic. But it nonetheless is still a fungus. So I'm like, without being nasty or anything, if you have like, as women, extra fungus growth, that doesn't smell appealing. So I just don't know where the truffles comes in. Because men, I guess, can deal with the same thing too. If you catch where I'm going here as women, I'm just like, wait, this makes no sense. And we're about to find out how much sense it really does make. So what was going to be happening here is that the women will be blindfolded while they go up to each of the men to smell them. Sangeeta says that they are going to be shuffling the men so the women don't know exactly where the men are. So, 80, I see her name spelled like like R-E, but it's not how you say it. I think it's Heidi. But so my my favorite girl, my Japanese girl, um, she says that smell is important to her. She kind of has a smell fetish. Didn't know that existed, but apparently it does. She likes the smell of soaps, colognes, and a bad smell is fine too, just as long as it's not too much. Cool. So basically how this goes to, which is not really said in the beginning of it, is that so when the women go and smell each of these men, they have these bracelets. And they're going to basically be giving their bracelet to the guy who they think has the best smell. That's what they're going to be doing. So, not going to be obviously going through every single person, but we will figure out how this goes for those who didn't watch. So, apparently, I think the first person who goes, actually, I don't think I kind of said who went first. Oh yes, Jennifer. So Jennifer thinks that Dylan smells strong, not bad, but strong. But then when she gets to, because Dylan's first, when she gets to Trip, who's 3, he's last. She's like, he smells horrible. But ultimately, she gives her bracelet to Khalil. Then Sarah goes next. She gives hers to Dylan. Um, as we go on throughout this, Dylan's kind of like, it's pretty clear who the women think smells best. And it's this guy over here. They're giving like all of their bracelets are pretty much going to Dylan. If you saw the episode, like the bracelets were just going up his arm. It was nuts. But I'll say who tallies up here at the end. So everyone thinks that Trip smells horrible. Like everyone. It's unanimous. Everyone thinks that Trip smells bad. Giselle ends up giving hers to Dylan. Interestingly enough, she says that Trip smells bad too. And Trip is in his feelings here. And like, she kind of says like, oh, he has like a sweaty smell. And he's like, I thought for sure she would have given me her bracelet. And he actually thought, not even just Giselle giving him her bracelet, but that he would be the top guy in the smelling department. And it's like, I thought so too, but clearly not. Because you probably smell like whey powder or something. Some sort of protein powder. It's probably why. You probably smell like whey farts. Like, let's be real here. But anyways, Trip. I'm gonna have a problem with you here. First he says like maybe it's because I ate eggs, which can happen. That can give you, that weird smell or whatever. I love eggs, but it happens. But Trip is like, maybe it's because I ate the plantain. No, I have a problem. Two things. Number one, Trip, as a Caribbean girl, I know some Caribbean people might think differently, but as a Caribbean girl here in Jamaica, we call it plantain. We do not call it plantain. It's not fucking plantain. It's plantain. I'll fight you. So it's just like, every time I hear someone say plantain, I'm just like, whoa, it's not plantain. It's plantain. And then the next thing that I need to say is plantain is not going to make you smell like shit. Plantain is sweet smelling. It's actually very good for you if cooked the healthy way. Again, here in Jamaica, or at least some of us anyways, we fry our plantain or we will put it in the oven just for the ease of it. But I was actually told by my naturopath, who kind of went on like a nutrition kick for a second because of his wife, actually said, go back to your roots being the plantain and that kind of stuff. Like the root food and not like the shit stock up with trans fats and shit. Plantain is healthy for you as long as cooked right. Now, frying your plantain is not the best way to do that, but putting it in the oven is not bad. Baking it's fine. Yes, it has probably a sugar content, but it's natural. And him over here trying to be like, oh, maybe it's the plantain. Fuck you, Trip. It's not the plantain. It's you. Anyway, Dylan thinks that maybe Trip probably smells like how I smell like coconut, with his hair, or maybe like, something else, or like whatever. Like he just has like a weird, no, I think he just smells bad. I don't know. A lot of people don't describe it. Really the only description we got was from Giselle, who said he smells sweaty. So to lie, actually someone else says he needs deodorant too. So I think it might even be body odor, like BO. Like, when a man just smells and like under their armpit and it's just like, did you wash? And because they also have hair, anyways, we're done. July gives her bracelet to Dylan. Heidi's next. And she is so adorable. I love her. She gets like so close to Khalil that his chest hairs like brush her nose. Which kind of threw her off. She goes to she goes to Trip and she's like, God, this is awful. Oh my God, dude. She ends up giving it to Dylan. Last but not least, Lady is next. And surprise, surprise, guys, she gives hers to Trip. He's like, really? Wow. She says that he smells like a man. Okay, she's like a smelly man, but a man who just worked out. Now let's take off the blindfolds, and the women can see that Dylan has a lot of bracelets. Dylan got 9 out of 12 bracelets. Khalil got 2. Trip got 1. Jennifer is shocked because she was one of the ones who gave her bracelet to Khalil. Because she's like, I have no interest in him. But for some reason, the universe keeps bringing us together. So what's up with that? So next, the men get to smell the women. This feels weird. So they get to smell the women of like the bracelets that they have. So Dylan's going to be smelling 9 people and Khalil's going to be smelling 2. Trip, sorry, you're out of the mix because you only got 1. So Heidi actually says like Dylan's pheromones could be bottled and sold. So Dylan goes first. He says that he likes how Juliana smells. And then he smells July, and she kind of like, the July was last or second last. She kind of flicks her hair in the wind. So it kind of like just gives this scent off to him, which is so interesting. And Iman is like, she like goes up to him and does like this thing. Like, it's too much. And it's like, Iman, enough. You would have done the same fucking thing. You're just angry you didn't think of it. It's fine. So Dylan hopes that he does pick July. And he says that he remembers that she smells like lavender. So then we're going to pause here. And we're going to go to Khalil. Khalil's going to do his smell and stuff first. And so now they're going to be picking who they like the smell of. And Khalil picks Jennifer, for whom he has had a weird date with. And Khalil is kind of confused by this because he's like, the date didn't go good. And she does say something later about this, so we'll wait till we get there, but it's like, I don't know. Then Dylan, with the attempts of trying to pick July, picks Sarah. So now the guys will be picking who they're going to be taking on a date with them for the next day. So we shall see how that goes. But we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we will see who the men decide to pick to go on their dates. Have you ever wanted to guest on a podcast like this one that you're listening to right now? Well, you can. You can definitely do this by visiting a website called Podmatch, where you can sign up and be available for all different types of podcasts that you can guest on. Or you can even search for a podcast and say, I want to guest on your podcast. I think we'd be a good match. So if you want to do this, you can go to our unique link, which is joinpodmatch.com/reality, and you can sign up and do exactly that. And you can find us and you can guest on our podcast. So again, that unique link is www.joinpodmatch.com. That's joinpodmatch.com/reality, REALITEA, and you can be a guest on our podcast. Have you ever thought of starting your very own podcast? Doing the research, I found something that would have made editing easy and seamless and makes the podcasting experience just that much easier. And I am talking about Ludo. This is a podcast software that I use for our editing of our episodes. It is amazing. It is easy. You're also able to get help from doing chats and getting the information that maybe you just need a little more help with. They also have access to different articles that can also help you that have been just godsends for me. Also with the Ludo, you can create clips. You can do your ads, that's like this very one I'm doing right now. And you can create your trailer very seamlessly just by the clicks of buttons. You can also use a Ludo to publish your episodes just straight from the software. It's so easy. I highly, highly recommend it. You can get access to a Ludo by using our unique link, which you can find on our show notes, just down there at the bottom at the show notes. And you can get access to an easy software. And I'm back. So let's finish up Love in Translation. So Trip is going to get Leedy to talk to her. He thinks it's fate that she connected with his stench. So he's going to take her to the beach. And she tries to tell him that she gets butterflies in her stomach when he touches her, but he has absolutely no fucking clue what she's trying to say. But he wants to get to know her. So with that, he asks her if she would go on the date with him, and of course, she says yes. Now Dylan pulls Sarah aside to talk. Julia is there, and she's a little jealous. She's very jealous. And she's wondering if she should, give other guys some attention since Dylan is giving other women attention. But I'm thinking, okay, but this is like a Love Island type situation, I guess. He is going to talk to other people. He isn't going to just focus on you. You don't put your eggs in one basket. And you don't have to do it either. But I just don't understand why she's surprised that he's going to talk to someone else. I don't quite get that. But anyway. So, with Dylan and Sarah, he asks her on that date. And she kind of pauses a little bit. But she's like, okay. So, we got 2 down, 1 more to go. But before we find out who Khalil is taking out on his date, he goes to Dylan goes to talk to Tulai, and he asks, how is she feeling? About like him taking Sarah on a date. And she says that it's hard, but at the same time, kind of like what I said before, he kind of says like, I don't owe Tulai anything at this point yet. I am going to explore other connections. He's saying this in the moment. And, but he still wants to make sure that she isn't going to try and like forget him. Like he doesn't want to not have a connection with her, which it would be kind of interesting to see if she does maybe explore other options as well. And I also wonder who that would even be. I don't know. Like kind of going back to the staring contest. I don't know who that would be. Then Khalil and Heidi are playing volleyball. Then they go chill on a hammock together. She tells him, or tries to tell him, that I think he caught on, was could feel his chest hair on her nose, and it was like gross. She actually thought that it was his armpit hair and not his chest hair. So Khalil asks Heidi if she will go on this date with him, and she says yes. And she is very excited. She's like, yay! I love her so much. Meanwhile, a bunch of the women are drinking right near Khalil and Heidi. And I guess with her excitement or whatever, they decide to look. Because we also the preface, one of the women is Jennifer. They decide to look, and they can see that it's Khalil with, as they call her, the Japanese girl, or the Japan girl. And Jennifer is jealous. Her ego's real hurt. And even though like the date didn't go well and that maybe she's not that interested in him anymore, she's gonna fight for him. And I'm like, but all because you like each other's pheromones? Okay. But that's basically it for love and translation. So again, just as a reminder, we are going to be off with love and translation for next week, back on February 18th. But not to worry, we'll have all the other content to keep you occupied with Love is Blind coming back. It's the title of this episode, and everything will be good. But that is it for now. So if you like what you heard, please share us with everyone in your life. Please also rate and review. That helps our growth, which you can do at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. So make sure you hit follow, subscribe on your favorite app so you don't miss a single episode. You can connect with us by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Times 2. You can also go to Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Times 2 Pod. And you can email us by going to realitytimes2@hotmail.com. Don't forget we have our website, which is at solo.to/reality times 2. And also, don't forget I have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel called the Next Take Podcast, where we talk about, well, just about everything over there. We're on every one of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. But you can get access to any links, any socials, anything like that by going to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. And you also can go to YouTube, which is Next Take Podcast as well. But of course, all of these links will be in the show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.